Please don't stop.
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to True Crime Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. I am your host, Joni Skinner. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I am impatiently waiting for our big snowstorm to hit. So if I see it out the window, I should have turned the camera the other way around so we could have the snow behind us when it hits. I'm kind of excited. I hope it hits and we get about 5 inches tonight. So we'll see. How's everybody doing this Monday night? Welcome to the show. We are streaming live on the R.I.F.T Nation Network every Monday night at 7 p.m. as we combine forensic astrology with true crime. So we have cases that are ongoing, updated cases in the true crime industry, and also mysteries. So I include mysteries as well. Good evening, Miss Tammy. How are you? I hope everybody had a great weekend. We are all looking so forward to Valentine's Day. If you notice the background, I like the yellow and the purple and the blue hearts. There were pink ones, but I thought, no, I'm going to do the yellow and the light purple. I hope we're all ready and you have your Valentines all filled out, ready to go. Oh, and here's Miss Lee. No snow. Thank you. I'm ready for it. I'm so ready. I'm ready for snow. But I'm also ready for spring. I'm more ready for spring than I am for winter. So I hope everybody had a great, I know I love it. It's great. It's every time there's a holiday, Restream will put up really cute backgrounds. So I'm looking forward to, I hope there's a Mardi Gras and I hope there's a St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure there will be because they had the Christmas backgrounds too. I think they're really cute. I love them. I love them. So let's get started. Everybody come on in. Remember, we are streaming live on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So if you cannot catch the live show, I appreciate everybody checking in during the week. And, hit that like button, subscribe, and please leave comments. So leave comments on YouTube. I love to read them. If you have a case that you would like us to review, please reach out to me, Joni Templeton Skinner. You can message me on Facebook and just on Messenger, and I will get back with you. And I'd love to look at your case as well. I'm actually pretty caught up on cases. And Tammy said, already saw all the new growth on my trees outside. Definitely spring here. Well, you're a little bit farther south, I think, than most of us. So you're probably getting the warm 70-degree weather, 65-degree weather, aren't you? We're still cold. We're still winter here. We don't have any, but our trees are still very bare. Very, we're ready though. You get to a point in the winter where after the holidays, and then you go through January, and you get kind of like that gloomy. There's no greenery except the pine trees. It's like we're ready for spring. One last snowstorm though. But so we will. I hope everybody is having a great one. Everybody's checking in. Hello. Hope you had a good day yesterday and today, of course. Absolutely excellent. Well, thank you, Miss Tammy. Excited for the show. This particular case, which we'll go into right now, it's little Harmony's story, Harmony Montgomery, and I have covered Harmony's story when she first went missing. And of course, we had no address, we had no timestamp, we had really very little information. Now that we are in the middle of the trial, her father has subsequently been arrested for the crime of Harmony's disappearance, and the trial is ongoing. It is live. You can watch it live on YouTube. It's streamed by True Crime. It's everywhere. It's streaming live right now as we speak. It's probably one of the hardest true crime cases I have ever covered in 30 years. 30 years. It's the hardest. It's the most heartbreaking case I think I've ever covered, without a doubt. There's no question about it. She's an angel. The everything failed little Harmony. The system failed Harmony. The judicial system failed Harmony. Everything that could have possibly failed this little one failed her. And I was curious because they don't really do a lot of natal chart astrology work with forensic astrology. But I did with Harmony because she was so young at the time of her death. And I thought, how was she incarnated into this life for such a tragic life? And when I saw her natal chart, I literally could have fallen over, because I'm going to show you all. Wait till you see her natal chart. We could have forgotten every bit of the forensic astrology. I about fell over when I saw this chart. In her chart, we have what's called a yod. It's called a finger of God. She has two of them. What does that mean? It's a destiny. So it's almost like, Harmony, were you destined to come in here to teach what? What was your little life here in this incarnation to teach? And wait until you see her natal chart. I was blown away. So I've got that in the show tonight. But let's get to the beginning of the show. And the first, let's get caught up on what's going on in true crime. Oh, it's Linda is our Facebook user. She says, before you get started, can't find the restream permission link. Oh, go. Is it not on Facebook? I'm not sure. Why not, hun? We can ask where Tammy and Lee, where are you guys watching from? I think it's on this thing that's scrolling. I'm not sure, Linda. If not, just click the like button on, okay. Right. It's only on the live on the Travelers page and YouTube. It's because when you get on Restream, we have to rehook it on the R.I.F.T network. So, okay. So that's the issue with R.I.F.T network. It just needs to be rehooked up to Facebook, which they can do this week. Okay, here we go. Oh, you're so sweet. I'll share a link with Linda. You're so sweet. I'll tell you where else you can go. Linda, go on Facebook. No, it's YouTube. My bad. It's streaming on, the only thing streaming right now on Facebook is the Travelers page. Or you can go on Twitch or YouTube. Both YouTube channels are up and running. I hope that helps. Okay, so to get started, everyone, this week in True Crime, we are, as you all know, we are in another week of the Doulos trial. We've gone through all of the DNA, all of the lab testimony, which it can be a little bit tedious. That can take like 2 or 3 weeks. We went through all of that. Now we are on witnesses on the Doulos trial. If you all recall, a couple weeks ago, we went over the Doulos case. If you have not seen that video on the Doulos case, go to YouTube and you'll be able to pull up that video because I did do the mapping on YouTube. So if you all remember the red pickup truck that we talked about on the Jennifer Doulos, she was the mother of the 5 children and her ex-husband unalived himself. He's no longer here. However, his girlfriend is currently, Michelle, is currently on trial for conspiracy to commit M. I can't say the word M. So, with that being said, that person was seen in the red pickup truck. The person that owned the red pickup truck, who worked for Doulos, testified. Yes, Tammy's correct. The pickup was the worker. It was his worker's truck. So we went over all of that information. What's interesting about the Doulos trial is I've got my notebook while I'm listening. They went over her ex-husband's phone pings. So I've got those on location for maps, for mapping. I'm waiting for the times. So I have to go back. It's tedious. It's very tedious to get the proper timestamps because they had so much activity that day, Tammy, too, that, Jennifer could be anywhere. And what's interesting we talked about the bags of lime. Is it lye or lime? I get them mixed up. That also came up in Harmony Montgomery's case as well this week in that trial. Now, so that is I think that's the only thing that we've got on True Crime last week. We've got the 2 trials ongoing, and that's pretty much quieted down a little bit in the YouTube community. However, I wanted to also make note of the fact, thanks, Linda, lime. I say lye because I make soap, and I know lye, when you make soap, can burn you as well, but it's lime. Thank you. What happened yesterday, as we all know, in Houston, down at the Joel Osteen Church, reminded me of some transits that are going on that I wanted to just kind of give you guys a little heads up. This week, we've got the red planet of energy and mail and heat and can be aggressive Mars. We all know what Mars does, is together with Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's also the planet of the underworld, Hades. They are together. They're like this. They are together. So for the next week, like we always talk about, like I talk about every day when I put down the energy report on Facebook, we vibrate above the craziness. So how do you do that when you're trying to vibrate higher, have a positive, better outlook when everybody around you is going crazy? How do you do that? For example, we know when Mars and Pluto energy is like this, if you're out driving, for example, road rage will be crazy. Okay. So just stay back. If you're driving anywhere, don't get on somebody's rear end. So there are little things that you can do when you've got energy that's crazy. And that, for example, what happened down in Houston yesterday with Joel Osteen's church, and there were 2 off-duty policemen, thank God that were there, that put the person down. And they are no longer here, but they're gone. But can you imagine, had those two officers not been there, security guards? That could have been very, very ugly. So those are the things when you're in a crowd with a Mars-Pluto conjunction. Be very aware of surroundings of big crowds of people. And that transit only goes for a week. They're both in Aquarius, which gives them a very rebellious type of an energy. So that kind of adds to it of you're going to see people talking a little bit louder. They're going to be talking a lot. And all of a sudden something can just click and it booms. So just be very aware of it. How can you use this energy in a positive way? Well, it gives you a lot of physical energy. Go to the gym, take walks, clean, do all those things that you want to do, that you needed the energy to get done. You can do it. Venus is in there as well. I forgot about Venus. She's in there. So you could have some relationship things pop up. So just be very aware that you might see probably couples arguing and fighting. Just walk away, get away from it. Get away from it. So do that for the week. It's just a week and it starts to separate and we're good. But just know that it's there. We got through all the earthquake and volcano with Uranus energy, but Mars-Pluto can be a little sticky. So let's just hope that Venus softens it a little, because like I said, Aquarius makes it a little rebellious. So that's just a little heads up. I wanted to let you guys know about that this week too. So that's it for the True Crime Update. And I hope you guys liked that segment. I'll keep everybody posted on the trials and what's going on. And we also have coming up, I'll try to make this big. I'm going to make this bigger for everybody. We have for one of our lovely families, Kathy. We love Kathy to death. Her daughter, Valerie, is still missing. There is a raffle for Valerie's reward fund. It is a night of mugs on March the 1st, 2024. And there is all the information. And there is Valerie's missing persons page on Facebook. Please go to her Facebook group and join. And the raffles are Valerie's sister with the mugs. And the mugs, they're adorable. Yes. And it's like Tammy said, yes, they are so cute. And Roxy said the price is 2 raffle tickets for $5 or 1 raffle ticket for $3. And I put in the comments, I put Roxy's PayPal information. It's Roxaroo, isn't that cute? Roxaroo1117 for PayPal. So that is to collect a reward to get some intel and information on Valerie's disappearance. And I know Tammy has been out searching. Well, not in the winter, but I'm sure come spring, Tammy and the search teams will be out again as we continue to work on Valerie's disappearance. So go join that group and we'll support and keep Valerie and Kathy and all of Valerie's children in our thoughts. We love them. They're our family, aren't they, girls? They're our family. So that's the Night of Tumblers, March the 1st. They're so cute. I want the sparkly one. Okay, you guys, here we go. We're ready for Little Miss Harmony Montgomery's story. Now, I'll give you a little bit of information on this trial. This trial is also streaming like the Doulos trial. It's moving at a faster clip than the Doulos trial. This particular trial is in New Hampshire. The Doulos trial is in Connecticut. It's kind of interesting to watch both of these trials live stream to see how different judges work in the courtrooms. It's very interesting to watch. a trial, ongoing trial. However, Harmony Montgomery's case, I think, has captured everybody's heart. She is a little angel. Um, what happened with little Harmony, just a little background story, is her mother, Crystal, had some drug issues and lost custody of little Harmony. Now, and this is some more back information that you can get it online as well. But Crystal has now worked through her issues. She had done that and tried desperately to find Harmony and to. It took her almost 2 years of where is my child? Where has she gone? I cannot find her father. Before they would even take a missing persons report on Harmony. So for 2 years, Crystal was desperately trying to find her daughter and could not. And then finally, as soon as the police started to investigate, they started to uncover, and subsequently, Adam Montgomery was arrested. And what had happened is little Harmony's stepmother just got done testifying today actually. It was heartbreaking. She has basically turned and given all of the information to the police. Adam is now alleging that his ex-wife was the cause of Harmony not surviving. So now we're in court. Adam has refused to show up in court. However, the jury's there. They have that right to do so. But you can watch the case. It should be about the last week or so, because her stepmother, just finished up her testimony, which she is doing 18 months, I believe, in the penitentiary. I think it's 18 months she's doing, but I'm not quite sure what her charges are. I know she worked with the DA. But what happened is Crystal lost custody of Harmony. She was in and out of loving foster care. But then the judge gave custody to her father, Adam, in 2018. So little Harmony went to live with her father in 2018. Her father, her stepmother, and 2 stepbrothers that were younger than she was. Then what happened, and when things really started to go downhill with little Harmony, is the family got evicted from their home in November 2019. They started to live in the family's car. Now, as you can imagine, there's her father on the right. There's little Harmony. She was born with one blind eye. She was blind in one eye. And so they lived in their car. Now this is in the middle of winter up in that area. I mean, you're up east where it's cold. So 2 babies, little Harmony, and 2 adults, and both parents were had bad drug issues. So that was the situation of the family around November of 2019. We finally now just have a real timeline, since, with the trial and things that have come out. I'm going to kind of give you the information of what happened to Harmony. It is it's so horrific. You can look up a lot of, I'll give you not go into the details, but I will just give you bits and pieces of what had happened. So and this is her stepmother, who just finished testifying today. She does not look like that at all right now. She has lost complete custody of her other two children. She testified and said what had happened. with Harmony's death was on the morning of December the 7th. Harmony began to have issues, pottying in the car without telling anyone. So they got up. They were sleeping in the car in a parking lot at a friend's where a friend lived in the apartment. The family was sleeping in the car. These are two young children, a baby, a toddler, and a 5-year-old, homeless in a car. So on the morning of December the 7th, and this is all alleged because we're in the middle of the trial, apparently Adam struck Harmony about 4 times in the head in the car. They put a blanket over her head. She testified that she heard her making some moaning type noises. They went to Burger King and ate. The car broke down. That's when they realized Harmony was not alive. So the car broke down. Her father, now this is from the stepmother's testimony, Kayla, who stepmother, and Kayla said they got a tote bag, put Harmony in it, and walked to the parking lot where they had parked their car because their friend had lived there. Harmony was not alive at this time. Okay? They put her in a duffel bag. So I'm going to fast forward ahead. I did one chart at that particular intersection where this supposedly occurred. And I'm going to show you guys on her chart that I did the time at her natal chart as well. And it was at 12:07 because the police have it on camera where the car broke down. And, according to the chart, she was at a 22 degree, which we all know by now. 22, she was gone. So I do believe that. It is horrifically a very sad, sad story. So, okay, there's a chart. So I'm going to fast forward. The family moved to a homeless shelter from December to February. Family's in transition. It's a homeless shelter. He still has her in this bag, carrying her with him. They still have the baby with them. He then goes to an employer called the Portland Pie Company. And I cannot make this up. This is horrific. It's a trigger warning for everybody. Harmony was placed in the freezer at Portland Pie Company allegedly. Okay. So then from February to March, he started to get paranoid, etc., etc. They moved to an apartment, and it is alleged that she was placed in the ceiling tiles. Oh, that was at the shelter, placed in the refrigerator at the apartment. So then they went to, on March the 3rd and 4th, 2020, checked into the Econo Lodge. He had a friend rent a U-Haul truck for him. So that's when, March 3rd and 4th, 2020, the U-Haul van was shown at the Tobin Bridge in Boston. So I thought, okay, I've got the time. That's where I'm going to do the chart and the timestamp down by the Tobin Bridge in Boston, which was from where they were at up in Manchester. It was about 133 miles round trip to Boston. So they're up in north. So he went south. So I'll show you all on the map like you all do. That is the trial that's going on right now. Sad. It's just heartbreaking. It's almost like it's like I said, it's the worst crime that I've seen for a little one since I've been doing true crime in 30 years to this little angel. So, but with that being said, I thought let's take a look at the chart. And if we can find little Harmony for her mother, since this has happened, has um, really come out very strong. She testified. Her strength during her testimony was phenomenal. You know, I was really proud of her mother for what her mother has been through. Her mother was screaming for 2 years, I can't find my child. I need help. And finally, when Crystal went to the press, is when they finally started to move on Harmony's case. 2 years. So nothing would have been done had the mother not screamed and done what she did. So let's take a look at the chart. Now, this is the chart where allegedly this is where things happened. We're going to look at the chart at 1219 Manchester, New Hampshire, on December the 7th at 2019, where the car broke down at the intersection of Elm and Webster. Now, when we look at little Harmony, Harmony is all the yellow arrows. That's what the chart shows us. That tells me where Harmony is. The moon is always the co-ruler of the victim's chart. Pisces rising, therefore Pisces ruling planet is Neptune. So little Harmony is Neptune. It's right on the ascendant. As you can see, third house, we've talked about this. Short trip in the neighborhood. Uranus is right there. We always have Uranus, Saturn, Mars right there. Right there. So the moon is at 22 degrees, which is the malefic degrees. The perp is represented by Scorpio, which would be Mars and Pluto. And we just see, it's clumped together. It looks like a short trip in the neighborhood, but at 22 degrees, this chart doesn't tell us a whole lot, but I think she was already gone by then. If you remember, you can see there's violence in here. But like I said, the natal chart is where it really comes out strong. And by now, if I were mapping this, where am I going to map it? As you know, I told you all there were about 5 or 6 location changes with this child. So it would have been nearly impossible to try to map this until we found out on the toll that's where he was, down at that bridge. That's interesting. Tammy, that's so interesting. We worked on a farm in Manchester in high school. It was a field trip for 2 weeks. Yeah, Manchester. That's where the trial is. Okay, so the next chart I did was the Tobin Bridge. At 4:44 a.m., he was caught on camera. He or whoever allegedly was caught, went to the South Willow U-Haul, took the U-Haul down to the Tobin Bridge in Boston, caught on the toll camera because he ran the tolls. So whenever you run a toll, it takes a picture of you. If he would have paid the toll, they would never have known he was there. The idiot runs the toll. So it's like, what? I was like, what? Now, what's interesting about this chart is this. Here we go. This is the chart, because the 12th house is when they are hidden. What is hidden? Look at that 12th house, and I marked on there. Look at all those planets in the 12th house. Harmony is represented by Saturn and Uranus, home. As you can see, Pluto and Saturn are together, malefic, hitting Uranus, which is the little one, bodily injury, And she's Pisces, looks like in water. That's what it looks like, because Pisces would be a large, large body of water. So it was 50 miles away. So from where they got the U-Haul down to Boston, it was 50 miles away, 53 miles. And the mileage was 46 on the chart. So I'm not so sure about that mileage, because the mapping gives us a really, wait till you see this mapping as well. So let's take a look at the mapping from the bridge. This is very interesting. Okay, this is a map that I wanted to show you all in the Manchester area. The blue dots represent all the areas where she was taken. So there were 1, 2, 4, like 5 areas that they moved her. There are 5 areas on the dots. That's the one for Manchester. Okay, here is a picture of the van that was rented on Willow Street that was caught on the toll booth camera at the Tobin Bridge in Boston, because he ran the toll. Okay, so this is, if you see the blue dot up at the top, that's Manchester, New Hampshire, down to Boston, about 50 miles. So that's the route that he took. So I mapped it in the middle of the bridge, because I thought, well, I'm going to map it in the middle of the bridge. Now, what's really interesting, I'm going to make this really big. Well, no, I'm cool. I'm good with it. If you look, what I thought was super interesting with Pisces, big, large body of water. If you look off to the left, and I circled it in red from the bridge, look at all those areas. And Kaylee has testified that there were garbage bags. So there were like 3 different garbage bags, 2 or 3 where he disposed of different things, items. There's approximately 30 minutes missing that the investigators figured out, that from the time he left up by where the U-Haul area and the Econo Lodge was down to this bridge, they're missing about 30 minutes. So for about 30 minutes, he was out and about disposing of evidence, so to speak. So my suggestion would be, look at all those lines over to the west. Over to the west. It's crazy. And I'll blow it up a little bit. Okay. There's our big body of water. There's the Tobin Bridge. And I thought that area, the picture to the left, was pretty interesting. Let me see if I can hide. I'll try to, there we go. Now that, if you notice, over to the left is where I circled in red, there's an area as well. So did he get off of the bridge and go around and deposit evidence around that way? I think this chart is mapping is very telling, that area over to the left is where they need to look. I'm not sure what that is. It almost looks like a sanitation yard, or I'm not sure. Welcome, Keith. Sorry I'm late. My daughter stopped by. Hi, Keithy. Donna says, hey, bro. Hi, Miss Donna. How are you? So if you all look over to that place circled, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of water. Is that okay, Linda's transfer station. I don't, is that what that is? I'm not sure. I don't know what that is, but I'd sure look there. But there were garbage bags. We know there were big garbage bags. Kayla has testified that she does not know where Harmony was disposed of. That he told her he wasn't going to tell her, to keep her out of it. So we'll see. But she does not know. She does not know. So there's also an area over to, and when I map things, I also look at the road that they possibly could have taken. And well, is there an exit? How would he have gotten over another roadway over to all that area? I don't know. Is there another bridge? I'm not sure. So let's look closer to down at the southwest. There's another area of interest near the water. So he had 30 minutes. So if we look at the map, he had 30 minutes. And then the other area over to the east was of interest, where somebody could easily just take a van, and it was a U-Haul van, you know, we saw, and just boom, boom, and very quickly dispose of evidence. How would he have gotten over to that area? You know, so I don't know. It's interesting. So, and Linda says transfer station. And Linda says, I don't know. I'll look it up. Now, what's even very interesting is on the day of the alleged homicide, I want you now take a look. This is wild. This blew me away. You know, this is one of those things in astrology that, oh, okay. Linda says, I just looked. Look at this. Here we go. This is interesting. Okay, then there's a transfer station in Manchester. The trash gets put in these big trailer things and transferred out to another area for disposal. But they caught him in the U-Haul van going from Manchester down to that Boston Bridge. And Kayla knew he was going to dispose of Harmony. So that we know that she somewhere around that bridge area is where she ended up. So she ended up somewhere in this area, down around this bridge. Because, well, we don't know if it was the bridge, but that's where he went north and south on the bridge. So we've got him going north and south on the bridge. So somewhere along that area is where she was disposed of. God love her little heart. So this is so wild, and I'll show you guys, and then we'll get to the comments. On her natal chart in yellow. Now, this is at the time. Now, I don't have a time of birth, so I did use noon, which it could be, you know, what could that be off on? Well, that could be off on her, maybe her rising, her sun sign. It would not. It really would not. The moon, it might. But I not the outer planets, not like this. Now, what was interesting about her birth chart is she had two fingers of God, what are called yods in her chart. They're highlighted in yellow. It's really not that common of an aspect to have in your natal chart. What does it mean? It's destiny. It's that you are living in a fated incarnation. So she had two fingers of God. That's what she was born with that. That's something that really, it's like a deep dive study to find out why an incarnate would come in with that and why a soul would pick that. Was she destined? When you look at this chart, it reeks, it just from beginning to end is violence. I'm not kidding. The biggest aspect on here is she was born with Mars was opposing Uranus. That Mars was opposing Uranus, which can be somebody that's accident prone. It can mean somebody that is, as a child, would be a little bit ornery. Not ornery mean or anything. They're just a little bit ornery, fun, but kind of ornery, freedom. That also can be a violent tendency. The moon was also on her chart opposing Uranus. If you go and look in the fifth house, look at Pluto. Pluto is the P. Red lines on a natal chart are squares, oppositions. Okay. The blue lines are things like trines, sextiles, things that are easy. If you notice in her chart in the fifth house, Pluto is squaring everything. Pluto is also considered the planet of death. Every single aspect in her chart, she is squaring Uranus. She is squaring Mars. Here we talked about Pluto, Mars today. Pluto and Mars are squaring. Venus and Saturn are opposing one another. Neptune and the Sun. I mean, it is one square or opposition after another. Pluto is the main. Pluto and Mars are getting all the hits in this particular chart. Pluto is also opposing. It's got an opposition. It's a wide opposition to Mercury in her chart. What happened on the day that she allegedly, was unalived? Her natal Uranus was opposing Mars. Now, I always look to the North Node and the South Node. Okay. North Node is your destiny, what you came into this incarnation to accomplish. South Node is what you've done in past lifetimes or karma. It's your karma that you've either come here to take care of or the karma that you've accumulated. So you always work towards that North Node to fulfill what lessons you wanted to fulfill in this lifetime. Her little North Node was in Libra. So her destiny was to come here for peace and balance. What was her South Node in? Aries. So it was always incarnations of uproar, it could have been a lot of, impulsiveness, just temper. You don't know where that could, you just don't know. But on the particular day, her natal North Node, let me see, her natal North Node, and which would have been conjunct, and her South Node, which indicates loss, because one is going to always be conjunct, the other is going to be opposing, because they always are opposite of one another. Your North Node and your South Node are always opposite of one another. Okay, transiting Uranus was opposing her North Node natal and conjunct her South Node. So Uranus was conjunct her South Node. Boom, right there. When we always look for, you look at the nodes. The lunar nodes are always activated when something like this happens. Also, Neptune was conjunct her natal Chiron. Chiron in any kind of a chart where we look at forensic is bodily harm. Neptune would be all the drugs that were occurring. Pluto and Saturn transiting were conjunct that day. I would have looked at this. That's all I had to have looked at was this chart. It is so sad. And this whole case is so very, very sad. It's a tough trial to watch, too. What else is on here? Let's see. Her natal Pluto was conjunct Venus on that day. So I think it would be a great study to get into on, for me, another rabbit hole that I would just dive into on the fate and the destinies of these little ones that come in. And was this the purpose? I don't know. I don't have that answer. I wish I did, because it's it's a philosophical answer, and you put our faith in God and everything. But boy, oh boy, this natal chart was just triggered everywhere for this little one. And you don't usually see that with little ones. And it really is. Linda, you are so right. It is just, it's heart wrenching. That poor little girl, this is heartbreaking. My heart hurts for her. It does. And, it's just and, she was always her mother. It was a beautiful thing in the trial because her mother would smile when she would talk about that she potty trained early. She was always chatty. She talked. She was bright. Even with her handicap, with just being blind in one eye, she was just always a smiling, cheery little child. And her mother, it was just a wonderful thing to see her mother with that memory. Um, but it's a hard case, but I think it's an important case because everything in the system failed Harmony to learn from. And if that's the lessons that Manchester and this area can learn from, the judiciary system failed her. Because the judge gave custody back to a father that they didn't do any backgrounds on. Um, the Everything failed her. Child Protective Services failed her. There were allegations of child abuse prior to this incident that the police showed up and nothing was done. That they even saw where the child had a black eye and nothing was done. So all the way down the line, everything failed her, from parents to but you can't go back and look at that now, but you can certainly learn from everything that has occurred. And I hope that lessons get learned because this is so tragic and so sad. And I agree with you, Linda. Our systems are failing our children in so many ways. And I know that a lot of the caseworkers have so many cases and they are so overworked. They have a lot of cases, and I get that. I do understand that completely. And Lee says, we live in a world where evil circles. Absolutely. And, and then, of course, we put on the issues of the drugs, the drug issues, heroin and fentanyl, shooting it up. So, there were a lot of things that failed this little one. So, but, like I said, I think it's an important story not to dig it and put it under the rug. I think, like I said, it's important to talk about it. It's important for people to learn. And I know her mother's going to be some kind of an advocate for children. You can already see it. And the mother is going to, as she's grieving but the strength, you can just see it every time she's talking. And I think, that would be absolutely wonderful for mom to come out. And yeah, it does. Look at Lee, the drug epidemic affects the innocent. Absolutely. It's epidemic right now. Like I have never seen it in my lifetime. It's very frightening for kids that even want to go out and try to buy something because what they're buying is absolutely fatal now. So, but that is Harmony's little case, and God love her little heart. I mean, she's just a little angel, and I think we just say a prayer and know she's fine now, and that I just put that little angel up there because, like I said, this is a tough case. This is a tough case. I almost didn't bring it to you guys to show you, but I felt like it was very important of the trial to hear about it. And I think it's important that people talk about what actually happens. So if you're interested, you turn the trial on. It is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. But we've got that, and we've got the Doulos case and more true crime next week. Oh, and then also, you guys, I'm working on my new website, which I should have up and running by next week. and I'm going to call it Astrology Meets True Crime. I hope you guys like that name. I'm horrible with names. But let's see. Can you imagine the guilt mom feels? She put the cycle into play. Curious as why mom's chart would read about this. Mom tried very, very hard and continued to try to get the child back. Mom tried very, very hard to get the child back. Stepmom is in jail right now, but she's got to live with that as well. Good name for it, Jody. Yes, it's going to be Astrology Meets True Crime. It's almost done. And also, you guys, next on Friday the 23rd, I will be on Carrie Lynn Shellhorn's Spirit Switchboards show. It's on a Friday night. It's a live show from Canada, and we're going to talk about astrology. So just come on over there on YouTube and jump on her chat, and we'll get to meet her folks too. So I'm going to be on that show and talk about it. Oh, there she is, Miss Carrie Lynn. I'm just telling people, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, that I will be on your show, Spirit Switchboard, on the 23rd. So that'll be fun, you guys, and everybody have a great. Oh, I know it is. Everything about this case tonight is gutting. It is, Carrie Lynn. I fought with it on whether or not to bring it. And I thought, no, this baby, no, people need to hear what this is about. We got to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, We really do. And this is probably the ugliest of the ugliest. It really is. This is the hardest I've done. 30 years doing this. This was a hard one. Of anybody, I would love to bring this child home to her mama. But I think her mother knows that, her little spirit and her soul is in heaven. We all know that, but it's good for people to have that closure. So, but yes, but uncovering, I think so too. And I think it's very important, Linda, to talk about them. Uncovering secrets is important, and to talk about these cases. They're heart-wrenching. So, but everybody have a great Valentine's, and don't forget, everybody, that the mugs for Valerie's reward fund, Valerie, and the mugs are March the 1st, and that's mug night. So, and we got the raffles, all the info's in the beginning of the chat, and you guys have a great Valentine's Day. Don't eat too much candy. I'm going to get a big fat Reese cup, and have a wonderful week. Enjoy your week, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I will talk to you guys. Hopefully I'll have bits and pieces of the website next week to show you guys. It'll be great. It's all yellow. I did yellow. So thanks, everybody. Have fun. Remember, don't tailgate too much this week. Don't drive fast. Mars Pluto. Just watch crowds and keep smiling and vibe higher this week, okay? So be safe this week, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Next Monday at 7. Thanks, you guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.